Greetings, welcome to the Heart of Jesus. My name is Sujay and I'd like to speak to you today from Luke chapter 22 verses 31 and 32. And the Lord said, Simon, Simon, indeed Satan has asked for you, that he may sift you as wheat. But I have prayed for you, that your faith should not fail. And when you have returned to me, strengthen your brethren. Now this passage is known to us as the portion where Jesus predicts the denial of Peter. But from what we've just read, is the denial of Peter the only thing that Jesus had predicted? Didn't Jesus also just predict his return as well? Now we know what happens next. Jesus gives himself up to be crucified and Peter denies him 3 times. There's even a moment where as Peter denies him the 3rd time, the cock crows and the Lord looks directly at the face of Peter. It is at this moment Peter remembers the words that Jesus had spoken to him, saying that he will deny him thrice. Now this causes Peter to weep bitterly, and he gets out of that place. It seems that in that moment, he is devoured by Satan. Peter wants the epitome of courage, of a faith that walks on water, of a reckless abandonment for his master, is now a shadow of what he was. He is a broken man and he is lost. What is the heart of Jesus for this man? What about the prayer that Jesus prayed, that his faith should not fail? Does this mean that the prayer of Jesus failed? Or is this moment a divine setup orchestrated by Jesus? Is this a moment that was allowed so Peter could strengthen his faith? Is there something in the life or in the heart of Peter that Jesus knew Satan could infiltrate, which needed to be exposed and broken? Is this perhaps a moment where Jesus allows the weakness of Peter to be exposed so Peter through Jesus could overcome it? What is the heart of Jesus for this man? Now, as hard as this year has been for a lot of us, is there any moment that Jesus has allowed in our life that have exposed our weakness, that has exposed who we actually trust on, whom do we actually lean on? Is there anything in our words or in our conversations or in our actions that have betrayed our first love for Jesus? Is there anything in our lives that have allowed a moment where Satan could infiltrate and have a foothold, where he desires, like Peter, to sift us like wheat? Perhaps like Peter, this could be a moment that was allowed, that could be a turning point like the life of Peter, a moment where certain situations were allowed that exposed areas of weakness so that you could know the heart of Jesus for you, so that you could strengthen your faith. Now, once Jesus rises from the dead, we find Peter telling the other disciples that he's going to go fishing. Peter returns back to the same life he left when he first followed Jesus. Now he goes fishing with the other disciples. They toil all night and they catch nothing. The next morning, Jesus stands by the shore and he addresses them as friends. And he asks them, "Friends, have you caught anything?" They respond to Jesus saying they have caught nothing. And then Jesus tells them to throw their net on the right side, and they catch a big haul of fish. Now we read from this moment in John chapter 21 verses 7 that the disciple who loved Jesus recognizes his voice. Peter, in his place of complacency, in his place of familiarity, does not recognize the voice of Jesus. It takes a disciple who loves Jesus to recognize his voice and to lead Peter to the voice of Jesus. It is profitable for you in these moments to have a lover of Jesus on your boat who's able to hear the voice of Jesus. Now, once Peter hears that it is the Lord, he strips himself off his upper garment and he jumps away from the boat into the sea. He jumps away from that place of being a fisherman, from that place of complacency and familiarity, and he swims across to see Jesus. Now, after they've had a meal, Jesus speaks to Peter. 3 times Peter had denied Jesus, and 3 times Jesus asked Peter, "Simon, son of Jonah, do you love me more than these?" Peter, in order for you to strengthen these disciples, you need to love me more than all of them. Jesus weighs the love that Peter has for him with every question that he asks. There comes a moment where Peter is grieved that the Lord had to ask him 3 times, "Do you love me?" And he tells the Lord, "Lord, you know all things. You know that I love you." With every response that Jesus gives to Peter, he shows him the way. Jesus empowers Peter, and Peter now returns to his source. Peter now returns to his source of strength. Peter returns to his first love. It is at this moment of returning does Peter receive his commission. And then Jesus tells Peter, "Follow me." It is at this moment Peter returns to Jesus. We see the prayer of Jesus answered. People of God, Jesus can measure our love for him. If Jesus could ask you today, "If you love me more than these," what would your answer be? Now, in the life of Peter, we see the hope that Jesus has for him. We see the power of the prayer spoken over Peter. The passage that we read earlier on is well known as the portion where Peter denies Jesus. But the heart of Jesus towards Peter is different. Jesus sees in Peter what many of us miss. He sees his heart. He sees his destiny. And those moments of denial and those moments of failure was in fact the first step of the return of Peter. That Jesus has not changed. That grace that brought the return of Peter is still available for you and for me. Through whatever situation that has happened this year, may you know that we have a high priest, Jesus Christ, who is interceding on our behalf, that our faith should not fail. Through whatever that was denied for you, or whatever weakness that you found yourself caught in, may you receive a grace that strengthens you and causes you to get out of that place. May you hear the heart of Jesus speaking to you and asking you, "Do you love me more than these?" And in your response, may you return to the place of your beginning. May you return to your place of your first love for Jesus. And in this new season, being filled and overflown with his love, may you follow him. This is your time of returning. This is your time to arise. Until we see each other again, remain and be found in your first love, Jesus.